what do we feel about the relationship with Kevin? Did we feel like it was pushed?
I'll tell you when I thought it was a little pushed. It was like, okay, we're creating this relationship,
Yeah.
and when it was really pushed for me was when all this dialogue that's going on and on and on, this sort of hyper bro, yeah, 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 boy, stuff that I just can't stand. I can't stand all that hyper masculine crap. But then it all went to all this poetry when they got on the beach in the middle section. It was like, do you ever feel like you're water? What? Why are they talking like they're like it was very poetic. The language became very heightened
It's like, when
for
did you
me.
learn how to speak poetry, brother?
It's like
Who is you, Sharon?
For a long time, try not to remember. Try to forget all those times.
At some point, you gotta decide for yourself who you gonna be. Can't let nobody make that decision for you.
We lost, by the way, but
Guys, I'm sorry. No, there's a mistake. Moonlight, you guys won Best Picture.
Moonlight won. Come on, this is not a joke. This is not a joke. I'm afraid they read the wrong thing.
This is not a joke. Moonlight has won Best Picture. Moonlight, Best Picture.
I think you guys should keep it anyway. Oh, it's Warren. I'm sorry. Guys.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to episode 8 of the Chicago Cinephiles. I am your co-host, Daniel. Joined with me, as always, is the wonderful James and the wonderful Stephen. Fellas, how we doing today?
great, long day, very long day.
Yeah, I feel that. We're having a little heat wave here in Chicago. How are you guys How are you guys handling it right now? Because have you guys put your window? Well, James, you don't have to, but Stephen, have you had to put your window unit in?
I just put it in this morning. Oh my lord, that was a
That's
lot of fun.
awesome. And then James doesn't have air right now because he's getting it fixed. He's getting a new HVAC
Are you
unit put in.
serious? Oh no.
Yeah, we have to replace it. But yeah, tornado warning, fun times right now in the city of Chicago.
So James had his windows open and let the moonlight in. Am I right?
Oh, look at that segue. Look at that segue.
I was gonna make the joke about tonight's winner is La La. Oh, just kidding, Moonlight. But I'm not gonna make that joke because I feel like that joke's been made a million times. But yeah, guys, welcome to the Chicago Cinephiles podcast. What we do here, if you're new here, welcome. If you're returning, welcome back. What we do is we randomize a movie at the end of every episode. That was an Oscar winner. We then, over the week, we watch it. We determine if we think it should have won. Kind of talk about it a little bit. Nothing major spoilers. Just kind of just discuss. And then at the end, we determined, do we think it should have won or not? Yes or no. And this week, the Wheel of Fate chose Moonlight for us, the 2017 winner, made in 2016. So, with that being said, what we're going to do is just tell you a little bit about the movie, do some random facts, and then we'll kind of get to more of the nitty gritty. But I like to start with kind of the facts part. So it was released on October 21st of 2016. The stars in the movie are Trevante Rhodes, who plays the adult Chiron, Alex Hibbert, who plays the kid Chiron, Andre Holland, who plays the adult Kevin, and then there is obviously a few other actors that were pretty popular, that are well known, including Mahershala Ali. I apologize if I got that wrong, playing Juan, but he wasn't a very long spoiler, so I'm not gonna just kind of give him a quick shout out. It is based on the unpublished semi-autobiographical play called Moonlight, Black Boys Turn Blue. Kind of interesting thing. It had a budget of 1.5 million. It was the lowest budget since Rocky, and it grossed about 65 million. So not a huge blockbuster, but still pretty good, making a 60-something million dollar profit. However, it is kind of more famous for the blunder that happened at the Oscars when they had the wrong card and they announced La La Land as the winner. So I think it'll kind of probably go down in history more as that, as opposed to it being a winner. Maybe not. Who knows? But
Yeah.
that's where I knew it from before this even happened. So I guess it's done as, but anyway, it was nominated for 8 Oscars. It won Best Picture, Best Adapted Screenplay, and then Best Supporting Actor. As I mentioned, it was Mahershala Ali. Only in it for less than 20 minutes. Spoiler. So it's one of the shortest Oscar Supporting Actor winners. Him only being in it for so short. Pretty impressive, but I think we'll kind of get into that. I think that character was wonderful, but anyway, we'll get to that later. It did win best pic. Or sorry, so it was nominated for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Adapted Screenplay, Best Cinematography, Best Supporting Actor, Original Score, Supporting Actress, and Film Editing. So that's kind of, that's sort of a quick, just the nuts and bolts of it. Now we're going to turn our attention to Steven, who's going to share a quick summary of the movie, and then we'll take it from there. Steven, go ahead.
So, Moonlight follows Chiron, a young black man, through 3 stages of his life as he grapples with his identity and sexuality in Miami, dealing with a troubled upbringing and navigating the complexities of masculinity. The film explores themes of self-discovery, love, and the lasting impact of childhood trauma on a young man's journey to adulthood.
Excellent. Thank you, Steven. So, for those of you who are new, we also kind of go over what was sort of happening during the time period that it was filmed, not so much when the Oscars were going on, although I think this may have played a part into it, which we can discuss later. But so what we do is we do the year. It was kind of, they were wrapping it up or releasing it. It was 2016. So in January of that year, El Chapo was captured. In April, Prince passed away. In June, the Pulse nightclub massacre happened, which was a gay club, which was kind of, I hate to say ironic, but it was, and then for us local people, in October, the Chicago Cubs won the first World Series since 1908, breaking the curse. So
Nothing's been right since.
Yeah,
nothing has gone right since.
Chicago's been a terrible sports team ever since. They've won literally nothing since then. So we're paying for it, but that's okay. We got it. So that being said, we're now going to move on to the section where we do kind of trivia or did you know, just kind of some random facts because those are always fun. I actually can go first this time because I don't think I ever really go first. So, one of the things I really like, one of the cool facts about this is for those you don't know, as Steven mentioned in the summary, it's filmed in 3 separate sections, and it's like a young kid or a boy, a teen, and an adult, and so the directors or whatever producers they never let the 3 actors who played the kids meet. So they could or see the scenes or anything. So they organically came up with their own, what their envision was of Sharon. What his kind of what they thought he would be as a teenager, as an adult, or as a kid. I thought that was pretty cool, honestly. And then the other one I thought was kind of cool was that the swimming scene with Juan, who is the Mahershala Ali, when he's teaching the little Sharon how to swim. That's actually real swimming lessons. The Alex Hibbert didn't know how to swim. So that's him actually teaching him how to swim. So kind of a cool thing, but those are just a few. There's a ton more, but I don't want to take the spotlight. So, gentlemen, what do you guys have for me?
Well, me being a huge James Bond fan, I had to say that Naomi Harris had to shoot her entire role for this film in 3 days.
Wow.
In between the promotional tour of Spectre for 2015.
Oh.
Yes. And due to a visa problem, she's British. The scenes spanned 15 years in the character's life and were filmed out of sequence.
Wow.
I mean, that's amazing. That's just stunning. So yeah.
Wasn't
really
some of her scenes like it was just one take and then boom, she just did it. There was no rehearsal. It was just one take and then all right, I guess we got it. Next scene.
That's crazy.
It's in the can. It's in the can. That was
that was impressive work by her.
I think she's great. I mean, I love her as Moneypenny or what have you. But as Daniel said about the lowest budget, if you factor in the adjustment for inflation, Moonlight is regarded as the best picture winner with the lowest budget ever.
Wow.
So that's
Yeah.
pretty crazy, And because of the budget restraints, the cast and the crew had to share one trailer for costume, hair, and makeup,
Wow.
and one restroom stall had to be shared by the cast and crew.
Wow.
So that's something, yeah. That's
That's
called
crazy. I did not know that.
commitment. Commitment. Yeah.
What
You have
about you?
anything, James?
What about
Or?
you, James? Got anything to add to it?
So what I like about this movie is like, the creators of the film went back to where they're from and they shot in Liberty City for in Miami. Even though Florida doesn't give you a film credit, so they could have had if they shot it out of state, they would have got like a 30% boost in revenue for their
Hmm.
movie. But they chose to shot in Florida to be authentic, and they had to have police escorts, and no one messed with them. They didn't have any problems because one, they still had family in the area, and people were very excited that they're actually shooting the area. So I thought it was kind of like
That's
community
cool.
kind of came in and helped with that movie. So that was really cool. Like,
I love that.
um, and then I don't know if we want to get in this now, but like I'm in love with the editing in this movie. Um, they chose like each portion of the life. They decided to do a different film style. So like they I guess spoiler alert for anybody that doesn't edit videos, but like there's these filters you can put on, and like if you've seen this podcast before, like sometimes we're black and white, and that's just a filter. But like they did a Fujifilm stock, which was the first part, which would did really intense skin tones and stuff like that. The second chapter was a Goff film stock, which kind of added more cyan to it. And then the final chapter kind of had the Kodak film look to it, like,
Hmm.
and it really kind of like the editing and how they shot, like how they did not win for best editing and best cinematography is I think they should have won for that.
Yeah, I actually
And
agree.
and when they were editing the movie, another fun fact, they were sitting back to back from each other because there's three people were in charge of editing. One person was in charge of editing the final scene, and the two people were sitting back to back, and they would literally just say, "Hey, what do you think of this? What do you think of this?" And because of that editing, they actually moved some of the scenes later in the film and stuff like that. So
Oh, wow.
yeah, because they were sitting literally back to back in some small
That's
little.
cool. Little trailer.
No, I think it was back at their like place in LA because they
Oh, okay.
decided to shoot like they wanted to do a documentary. They didn't want to do a documentary style film. They shot in cinemascope. So it made it look like that. But
Hmm.
when you're watching the shooting, they also kind of wanted to make it look like you're just following this guy around.
Oh.
But,
Perfect.
I'm
No,
in
that's
love with
cool.
those. I'm in love with that. Whoever that I'm in love with these editors, and I can't wait to see what
Wow.
they do.
Yeah. Yeah. So that being said, let's move on to what were our initial thoughts? Because this is actually one of the rare movies that none of us had seen. Going into it, what was our initial thoughts, fellas? What was y'all's sort of just give me your thoughts.
Oh, I can start off with this. I was like, thank God it beat La La Land. I
Are you not a fan of La
I
La
am
Land?
I am not a fan of La La Land. I'm just glad that this movie beat it. But that's kind of what I knew about it. So that was
True.
I had no thoughts on it other than it did the world a favor and beat that other movie. But um, no, I thought I came in with no expectation other than it's shot in Miami, and I loved it. I thought it was a pretty good, solid film.
Stephen, what
You
what
know,
was your without I don't want to go into your overall thoughts, but like did you have any initial
I didn't really have any. I mean, I knew that a lot of people.
as our resident homosexual, did you have any?
Well, speaking for my people, no, I mean, I really didn't have any. I didn't have many expectations for it. I'd heard good things, obviously, and I knew of the whole debacle with the Oscars because I was watching that night when
Mhm.
everyone thought that Faye Dunaway had truly lost her mind because she read the wrong thing, but that wasn't the case.
Yeah.
So she has lost her mind, by the way, but that's totally different. But Faye, call me. But no, I really didn't have many expectations for it. I just sort of, knew about the film but didn't really know much about it.
Yeah, same. Like I will be completely honest. Like I knew it was like about dealt with a lot of LGBTQ stuff, and so I was just kind of like, not that I'm against that, but I was just kind of like, I don't really know how I'm going to be able to relate to this, which to me is what makes the great movies, because it's like I can't relate to a cowboy either, but I should watch it, watch
Yeah.
Unforgiven or whatever. So going into it, I was not exactly like looking forward to it because I just didn't know what to expect. So that was kind of my, sort of thing on it. Okay, so then now we're going to move into the first topic here was, I think for me, the biggest. We'll get into our feelings at the end about if we liked it or not. But the one criticism that I can give, and I know Stephen and James, you guys may have criticism, so we can get those down the road. But the one criticism, the biggest one that I had about it, it didn't feel like it was complete. Like I feel like there were several stories that were left open. Like why was like Juan just casually mentioned that he's dead? Like he had such a prominent like act like play like to me he stole the first scene, like the first like whatever you want to call it. That was like I think he stole it. And like the fact that he just goes like he's dead. And then like even like Teresa disappearing after the teen years, you never see her again. We never find out if the mom like what her story was, like why was she an addict, like because I'm sure there was a story behind that. Obviously people don't just grow up and become addicts, like there was a reason. I just felt like I was longing for more, and that maybe it's just me, but I just, to me, that was one of the biggest like criticisms that I took away from it. Whether it deserved an Oscar or not, we'll get to that, but if I'm going to be honest, I do have to be a little bit critical in that regard. What did y'all think? Do you guys feel the same way? Do you think it was rushed? Like what was y'all's take on it?
I mean, I did read that there was a scene that they thought about putting in or was in that was sort of explained more about or went into more of the death of Juan.
Okay.
I remember seeing something about that, but they chose not to put that in there. Because I
Okay.
think they were trying to keep the theme on Chiron and his sort of like
Yeah.
development.
They probably recognized that my dude was killing it and was like crushing the scenes he was in. They're like, we gotta get rid of this guy.
So I see what you feel though. I mean, like I don't know that I necessarily felt like it was we lost those characters. I just was like, I don't know. I'll go into what I think later on. Let's just put it that way. But I see what you're saying though, because you felt such a kinship with that character. You really liked that
Absolutely.
character. Yeah, and you really like Teresa.
Yeah, I really related to both of them. James, what about you?
So honestly, I think of it, it's like we're just randomly checking up on this one dude through his life into snapshots. Like,
yeah.
Okay.
Like, so my thinking is like you kind of feel like, I don't know, I don't want to say this word, but a voyeur watching this movie.
Yeah. Okay.
You're like in the back seat. You're there, and how they particularly shot the film. So it's like, would you really talk up about that guy's death? Would you really go in that scene, like explaining the movie? Because
how would you explain it? Sure.
Yeah, it's like it's not like he's talking about my mom's an addict every day of his life, like in the history. So like I don't know. I thought of it as like it was a movie where it's doing snapshots, and it's like yes, like since the characters were well written and well developed, I could see like I don't know if they would actually do this, but like you could have spin-offs of this movie with these characters and have very detailed thing, but then the movie would be like 6 hours long and nobody got time for that.
I can see that. No, that's a good point. That's a good. I didn't think about that. Quarter, like you said, the way they filmed it, like a snapshot. Okay. No, yeah, James, I agree with that completely. I think that's a good take. I hadn't really thought about it being like like you said, kind of just a snapshot viewing in of, so you wouldn't see that. So I can see that. So still wish I had more, but I can at least appreciate it.
I don't know. I definitely want to know more about these people's lives, but like, I don't want to also sit through a Ben Hur length movie for it. So
real,
but
okay.
Like one of the criticisms that, because it was such a low budget film, and I'm assuming there were shoestring budgets and crazy shooting, they didn't really have time to establish the shots. But like the camera bumpiness, like going up and down, and like it drove me nuts. Like I started to get a little motion sickness from that, and I was like because I'm guessing they didn't probably have a steady camera or the cameras weren't mounted. They were just some guy
Yeah.
literally filming like and trying his best not to have like 8 cups of coffee. You didn't want that guy doing it but I don't know. That was one of my criticism, and I hated the audio in this movie. It
Well,
was
then
so quiet and then so loud.
let's
So you had to crank up TV.
segue into the next thing because that's what we're talking about what we thought about the film and the score. So, James, you seem to be the one sort of the most passionate about it, and I actually agree with you. But you've got more of an eye for like editing and film and that kind of stuff. So, like, tell me like what about the camera work that you haven't already said? Because I have an example that I love, so I want to hear what your thoughts were.
So the camera work is great and it gives this film the way it looks. But in film, there's things called like a steady camera. Like you can like if somebody's holding it, it literally makes it steady so you don't see this. Now that camera is expensive. One of those cameras will probably eat up like 20% of the 5% of the budget for one of those cameras. So like I get it, but like from a finished product, it kind of like I don't know. I know it was like homemade style, but like I don't know, like that didn't go. And then the audio drove me nuts because it would be quiet. Like the audio, you could barely hear the guys without cranking up the volume. And then all of a sudden that stupid train that came by and just like blew my like ears out when it was just like boom. And I don't know, like I wish the audio was more not extremes and more.
I didn't experience the audio stuff. Did you, Steven? Like I didn't have to turn it up or down at all.
I mean, hello, I'm old. I always play with subtitles because
I did. To be fair, I had subtitles on too,
so I don't have to keep it up.
So I should have had subtitles on.
And then I just sort of go. Oh,
well, I just like to pick because there's stuff you don't pick up in the background, so that's why I have subtitles on. So, yeah, James, I think they did that on purpose. I think they could have put money into the camera, but I think they did it on purpose to make it feel more like an indie film. And that's one of the questions I have later down the road: is would this film be as controversial if it was just a regular indie film that you randomly found one night, on HBO or whatever at 3 a.m? Like, would you because everyone views the lens differently because it's an Oscar winner, and so which we can get into. For me, the one I have to admit that I love the score. I thought the score was beautiful. I loved the music in it. I don't know, I just did. But
music was great. It's just the audio being like
for you,
way high
it was just the one scene. Now, see, I have got a very queasy stomach. I get motion sickness. Like if I take an Uber, I have to take a Dramamine. Like I'm that bad. So I'm surprised it didn't bother me. The only scene that did kind of bother me, which actually made me love the film even more, was the one where Juan goes and meets. It's very beginning of the movie where Juan drives up and like meets the local I guess drug dealer or whatever guy on the street, and it circles and follows you around. Like it circles with you and follows you around them. I love that. I thought it was so cool. Like to me, it was just a neat thing. Like you don't see that often. And I was like, oh, this is really cool. So for me, I actually like the camera work as well. Steven, are you gonna poo poo on this idea, or do you actually do you appreciate the camera work?
I like the camera work. I didn't like the score at all.
Okay.
The score annoyed the hell out of me. I mean, something about the classical music. I thought it's a nice touch, but maybe it's just because I just watched the series, the 4 seasons with all that Vivaldi, and I just watched the original film that Alan did that has all this Vivaldi, the 4 seasons.
What is Vivaldi? I don't know what that is. Sorry.
It's a classical composer.
Okay.
So it's like he had written the 4 seasons, and then that was introduced into this film with 4 seasons in the movie as well as the series, and it's incorporated so well. And I don't know, it was like it was just disjunctive to me. I didn't really feel like it fit for me.
I don't necessarily remember. Like I can't sit here and say, "Oh, I remember this scene," but the fact that I don't remember it being bad is why I think it was good. Like I do remember the scene on the beach. I did like the music in that. I did like that a lot. And I like at the end of the movie with them in the water. So maybe I'm just more biased because that was kind of the last few images, that I like.
Yeah.
The last thing you remember is what you kind of ingrains in your head or whatever. But yeah, so I mean, Apparently, Aretha Franklin's One Step Forward did play twice in the movie, so you are hating on Aretha Franklin, Stephen. I'm just going to throw that out
Well,
there.
I didn't say
How
classical.
dare
I didn't
you?
say Aretha. I didn't say
How dare
Aretha.
you?
She'll kill
One
me.
one step ahead. Yeah, she play it twice. So,
I'm about to be stabbed. Oh God, I'm about to be
but
stabbed.
yeah, so alrighty. So then let's move on to what do we feel about the relationship with Kevin? Did we feel like it was pushed?
I'll tell you when I thought it was a little pushed. It was like, okay, we're creating this relationship.
Yeah.
And when it was really pushed for me was when all this dialogue that's going on and on and on, this sort of hyper bro, boy, stuff that I just can't stand. I can't stand all that hyper masculine crap. But then it all went to all this poetry when they got on the beach in the middle section. It was like, do you ever feel like you're water? What? Why are they talking like they're like, it was very poetic. The language became very heightened.
It's like, when did you learn how to speak poetry, brother?
It's like, do you ever think you only hear your heartbeat? Is this like, what are we talking? Is this West Side Story? Like dun 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 dun. Like I didn't know. It didn't like feel, it didn't feel like it came out of the same dialogue. It just felt really sort of pushed and heightened. And then it's like we know this is going to be a very important moment in his life.
So we got to make it beautiful.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it just felt like, okay, maybe I'm the old jaded person here, but I thought, okay, now we're going to talk about me. You become water, and okay. It didn't feel natural to me. That was my thing.
James, what do you think? Or sorry,
I just didn't like all of the rest of the, by calling everybody bro and boy and this. I just
No, I get your point, Stephen, about how that talk was radically changed.
Yeah,
but I don't know, like.
But you liked it.
The was it a pushed was that with Kevin pushed and not well fleshed out? Maybe. Although it's snippets, we don't really know the backstory, but that could be just an excuse for lazy writing. I don't know. I'm not sold either way.
I felt no chemistry.
Yeah.
For any of the Kevins?
Yeah, for none of them. I mean, like a friendship for the first one, but not like I'm gonna find you. To me, it just felt like, oh, we're at church camp. Let's go. Like, let's try something because we haven't done it before. And to me, it just felt very pushed. It did. I mean, I'll be honest with you. It felt like I don't have a problem, obviously, with the main character being a homosexual. That's not a big deal. But Steven, you probably can attest this. Your best friend's usually not the person that's also gay with you. To me, or bisexual, whatever. It just felt like you said, very pushed. Like, okay, guys, we need to win the Oscar, so let's do this. Let's have them be poets on the beach together, as opposed to let's just let them be friends. Yeah. And maybe Kevin can help him find his sexuality, by being his friend and listening to him and letting him be who he wants to be, and not act on it. Hey man, I don't care if you're gay around me. Obviously I'm not gay, but if you're Kevin, be like, hey, look, I'm not gay. I don't have a problem with you being yourself around me. And if anyone comes up to me and calls you a name, I'm going to defend you as a friend would. But we don't have to be lovers or have to be pretend to try something just because, I don't know. Maybe I'm just looking too far into it. But I mean, I've to go back to our previous movies. I felt way more chemistry with Ben-Hur and Marsala, and I felt way more chemistry with Higgins and whatever the other guy's name was from My Fair Lady. I mean, they weren't even trying. The chemistry was so much better, and maybe that's because it's 3 different actors for each one, so it's actually starting over really. But I just did not feel the chemistry at all.
Here's what I would wonder, because it's based on a play, and the playwright's gay, the director screenwriter is straight.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. So I'm wondering, does the relationship come out differently in the play? Of course, we don't know because none of us have read it. It's not published. But I also know the play doesn't deal with 3 different sections. It goes in and out of time throughout Saran's life. So it's very, very different. So I see what you're saying. I think the reason to have Kevin and Saran have that moment is to immediately juxtapose it with him having to beat him up. and what that does to that relationship and what that does to
True.
Chiron. So you have to have that moment.
You got to have that part. Yeah, I see. Yeah,
maybe what we're feeling is less. I don't know. I felt like the language was heightened for this moment. You're feeling like they really didn't have chemistry, and it didn't really bother James one way or the other. He liked it. Period.
I felt like, it was an okay story. We could go my opinions on the final verdict of the movie, but
yeah.
I didn't think that was forced. I don't know, like because of my perception of it being snapshots.
I guess like if you're looking at it, but like my argument, James, would be is that the very
is lazy writing is a mechanism as lazy writing. Like when we're talking. Yeah,
you think lazy writing? I don't think people do lazy writing when they're trying to win Oscar. Maybe they do. Maybe I'm stupid, but maybe I'm naive. But it's your one shot to get it. It's not like you're Steven Spielberg who's going to win. I know he's not. But
do you think any of these people thought that this was going to be an Oscar, or because
that's a fair point.
Because A24 picked it up, and A24 is really good at getting Best Picture.
Fair point.
There you
fair
go.
Point.
There you go.
Just like to kind of like enclose why I don't think the chemistry was there. This is spoilers. So if you guys haven't seen the movie, skip forward about 15 seconds or 30 seconds. I told Steven this in the last scene. I had no idea if he was going to kill him or kiss him.
Oh.
When Chiron was in because he's a gangbanger now. I had no idea if he was going to take him in the parking lot, shoot him, or kiss him. And like, if you don't have that, like to me, like I know most people are probably are probably killed by their spouse most of the time. So maybe it's a bad example, but I just feel like as the viewer, if I can't tell if they're about to kiss or about to kill each other, to me that's not chemistry. But maybe that's just me being because I've never really been in a bad relationship, so maybe I don't have
lucky you
for you. But no, so I think that was very intentional at the end of the movie.
I think so too.
Because if you're like, you don't know, because like if you look at it, they haven't talked in years. There's obviously unrealized feelings and all this stuff that was going on. So like he might like the actor could be portraying that he didn't know if like what he was feeling. Like you could have two emotions at the same time. You can hate him and love him at the same time. But like
fair enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think to me it was a very tense scene. Like I really didn't know what to expect.
You didn't know where it was going to go, and that shows that it's a great scene because you didn't know where it was going to go.
I mean, I agree the scene was great, but I just don't think the chemistry was there regardless.
Yeah, I could see that.
It was like my 10th grade report card. Chemistry wasn't on there, thank God. But now let's move into the cultural impact of the movie. We usually, for those of you new here, we try to have a cultural impact or a technological impact section, and I think we've kind of touched on most of this. I mean, the obvious one in the room is that it being the first like LGBT movie to win, or I think Oscar or whatever with the lead. I think is if I'm not mistaken. And so it was the first LGBT film and the first film featuring an all-black cast to win the Academy Award for Best Picture. Exactly. So that's obviously a cultural impact. That's awesome. That's fantastic. We've always talked about the lighting. We've always talked about the filming. The filming, that kind of stuff. Is there any other cultural impacts? And maybe Steven, maybe you can attest some of this. Maybe you have some friends who are gay, or maybe even James, you do, who are gay, who have said like, "Hey, like, I saw myself in this movie," or "I remember this," whatever. Like, because I know, like for me, like whenever we were growing up, we would play that football game they were playing. I'm not going to say what it was, but you can Google it. It's smear the. I'm not going to say what the word is, but it didn't mean anything. Like to us, we didn't view it as like a gay slur. We would just. It just rhymed with smear, so you just tackled whoever the kid that had the football, and that's what they were doing in that one scene. But if you're gay, like Sharon was, I'm sure that has a whole different meaning because you're fighting your inner demons already, and now you're literally fighting other people. But anyway, I'll give you guys the floor a few minutes. Do you guys have any cultural impacts or maybe some real life stories that your friends have said or heard? Just anything, kind of give it. Floor is yours.
Let Steven take this because I don't have anything.
I mean, I don't personally, because it's a very different experience from having me, little boy in East Tennessee, who found his people through. I became friends with people who I didn't know were gay, and ended up that they were gay. They were the people that I became friends with in high school. All of us were coming out to each other at the same time. We didn't choose each other because we were gay. but we found each other.
Yeah, common interest, right? You kind of felt
know.
like something was there.
Well, something just brought us. We were the freaks. I mean, and if anybody wants to think that that's a bad thing to align with LGBTQ people, guess what? A lot of us find each other that way. A lot of us find each other in places where the freaks go. And I'm not saying we're all freaks. I'm saying we found each other because that's what they called
That's what
us.
society called you, right?
So we adapted to each other and found each other. But so I didn't have that. I mean, I didn't find this movie was very much alike to my gay experience, because it was such a long process to get to. But was it self-acceptance? Was it just to have someone touch him again? I mean, he had never been touched by. I had never had another sexual experience except that thing on the beach, in 10 years, or however many years it had been since the second, third part. So that's such a struggle to find who you are as a person. And I don't even know if he would identify as gay. I mean, maybe he does identify as gay. I guess he does, but I don't think that Kevin does. I think Kevin may be bisexual,
Yeah.
So I don't know. It wasn't an experience I've had.
Good point.
I found those people in a very, very different way. But you're right, Daniel. All the people that I became friends with who were gay, none of us had sexual experiences with each other. That didn't happen for us. Those were very different people that we met, that we had.
It's like that old cliche where it's like, oh, you're so and so, you guys must find each other attractive. It's like, no, that's not how that works. Like, sure, we may, but that's not the obvious choice.
I have a friend my friend Sean's gay. Do you know him? Yeah, I'll find him at the meeting.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course I do. People like that. Or I've been set up on many a blind date with people who said, well, I have a friend who's gay. Great. We're not all the same. We may have differences that,
Yeah.
So, but so I don't know. It just, to me, this movie, didn't resonate with me very much, and I didn't very much enjoy it. I know I'll be taken down to the shed and whipped up for that, but it didn't resonate with me. And near the end, I thought, can we just get this over with? I mean, I was telling Daniel that I was watching the third act, and he drives to Florida, or watch it. So it's like a 10-minute drive to Florida. Okay, so he gets in the parking lot. He has to get him out of he goes to the restaurant. The guy walks around. I was like, can we just get to part or something happens? It didn't feel like, it just felt like it was dragged on. And then to get to a part where it's just about them hugging, I was like, wow, we went a long way to get to this place. I don't know. Maybe I should be lambasted for that, but it did not resonate with me at all. And I'm the homo.
Well, we're very close to giving our final opinion. So, Steven, I appreciate you kind of give us a snapshot into that. We already talked about it earlier, so I won't go into it. But I think this film would be recognized. I think people would like it more if it was just an indie film you randomly stumbled across. You could tell your friends, "Hey, guess what? I found this random movie." We talked about that earlier, so I'm not going to take too much in that one. And then the last scene is obviously, it's called Moonlight, where it's like the moon shines down, which is, kind of one of our themes right here. But yeah, so I just thought there's an overall thematic scheme. It's kind of a cool ending. But now the fun part, the part that everybody's been waiting for. I'm going to take a back seat to this, and I'm going to I think James probably is too. We're going to let Steven kind of take the reins.
I'll let you cook, Steven.
So, okay. Actually, you know what? Let's go first, so we can close on a banger with Steven. So the question is, should it have won? So this is one of the very few years where I have seen almost every single one of the movies. There's 3 of them I hadn't seen, maybe 4 that I hadn't seen. So I had seen. So just so you guys know, IMDb gave it a 7.4. The highest one was Hacksaw Ridge at 8.3, La La Land at an 8, Arrival at a 7.9. And then Manchester by the Sea at a 7.8. So those were the ones that were higher than Moonlight. I've seen all those, and I've also seen Fences because I'm a big Denzel Washington fan.
Oh, wow.
So if you're going to ask me, did I think it deserved to win the best picture? I'm going to say no. I don't have a problem with it winning, but I don't think it should have won. I think Hacksaw Ridge should have won.
Oh, wow.
I do like La La Land, and I can appreciate it. It's just a fun movie. But like Hacksaw Ridge is a true story, and they had to down, like take it down a notch because it was so unbelievable the stuff this man did. Him rescuing like 75 men
Wow.
one by one. They had to lower it to make it because no one would believe it being real. Like the stuff that man had to go through. And I've seen his interviews outside of the movie before he passed away. And like to me, I would be okay with La La Land or Hacksaw winning. I do want to give a shout out to Arrival. Arrival is really good as well. If you like sci-fi doesn't get much love. Arrival is really good. So if you guys like aliens, that kind of stuff's really good. But I'm rambling. That's what I would have chosen. James, what would you have chosen? If final decision, what would you have chosen?
I would have not chosen this to win. However, I have no problem. I like you, Daniel. I don't have a problem with winning. I thought this year was a good, strong year,
Yeah.
and I thought Arrival was
All
really
these would
good.
have won 2024.
2025.
Or yeah. Sorry, all these would have won 20.
Yeah.
All these would have won this
exactly.
year.
Yeah. So like Hidden Figures, fantastic movie. Fences, a solid movie. But Hidden Figures, I thought was like just such a great movie.
Okay.
Hacksaw Ridge is also really good. But Hidden Figures is like the women that did all the calculations for the space program, and it's like they
cool.
could just
Yeah.
do it, and it's very impressive. Although there is some controversy with that movie, but we won't get into that.
Yeah, it's just
But-
a movie.
I don't know. I really like Arrival. I love that movie so much.
Mhm.
I will say Arrival has a very unique take on the whole aliens come to Earth.
Yeah, it's not like
It's
a normal sci-fi
fantastic.
movie. It's such a good movie. I'm just glad La La Land lost, but I don't know. Like I don't have a problem with this winning. It's just I just thought there were some better movies out there because like the only one it was the lowest scored other than Fences.
Wow.
I don't know. Like it's a fine movie. There's stuff that I love about it, but I don't know. I'm just glad it beat La La Land.
What don't you like about La La Land? Everything or what?
I think it is LA self-serving.
There you go.
Yes.
I'd say that.
There's
What do you
more
really
things,
think?
but I
Tell
don't
me
want
what
to.
you really
I don't want to
think.
get. I don't want to get. I don't want to have to edit it out. So we'll just leave it at that.
La La Land equals doo doo land is what he wants to say. So what would you have voted for if you were a voter?
Hidden Figures or Arrival.
Oh well.
Okay. Now, last but not least, Steven, I have got some hints that you have some strong feelings about this movie. So the floor is yours, my friend. Just keep it PG and take it away.
No, I mean I've said it just like I'm just not a big fan of this I call it this masculine way of and it's black, white, it's any color, it's any sexuality of this hyper masculine talk. It drives me bonkers because everybody calling each other bro, everybody calling each other dude, whatever it is, and it's this kind of this the way that people they even talk about how Little walks. You've seen how he walks. I mean, but the way that everybody sort of chooses to walk like I don't know. There's something about that and the way that all the dialogue was like that, because of course it should be, I guess, but it just turns me off. It just turns me off completely. Maybe I'm just too gay for words, but I just don't. I feel like it's just posturing. I've been on the train before and seen a group of 5 or 6 guys who are all posturing for each other, and I go, my lord, I feel for my straight girlfriends because they have to deal with that. Wow, so. What didn't really resonate with me, and like I said, near the third act, I was like, can we just get this going? Like, cut to the chase. It was sort of like, again with Ben-Hur, cut to the chase. Why is this taking so long? So it didn't resonate with me. Now here's the thing: for the movies that I probably would have voted for or wished had won, I would say Fences. I'm a huge August Wilson fan. Huge August Wilson fan, and would love to have seen that movie win.
And that was mainly an all black cast too. So if they were trying to do an all black cast, that could have won.
Mean, I love that play. I love that. I just thought the movie was wonderful.
I cried like crazy in Fences. I ain't gonna lie, I cried at the end like a baby.
Well, of course, of course you would.
That's a good movie.
So what would you have voted for, Steven? Would you have voted for Fences just based on?
I think Fences. Fences. 'Cause I think it
See,
was
and this
or-
is why
or
we do this
short-
podcast, guys, because this is what makes the Oscars great. Three of us have three different answers for what we would have won, and none of them are what won.
Right.
The difference
August
is
Wilson.
I'm right and your guys are wrong.
Obviously.
August Wilson's work is just like it's incredible. So that's what I would have done.
Yeah, Stephen, I think, and do you think? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is definitely the first movie that maybe resonates more with me and James because we are younger and we're used to that talk. I'm used to like I don't view that as Matt. Like to me, like I call you bro, and I hope you don't get offended by. I didn't know like it bothers you, but like to me, that's you
doesn't
are
bother me.
like
You
to me you are my brother, so I'm gonna say bro to you guys or whatever because that's just in my vernacular.
It
And maybe
doesn't
that's just
feel put
because
upon.
you know what I mean, like.
It doesn't feel put upon or artificial.
Okay.
I don't know what. There's something.
I see
about
what
it
you're
that feels
saying.
Artificial.
So it's more of just like kind of putting that front on, basically.
I'm laughing because the first time when I met Daniel through working with him, the first time I called him girl, he was like, "I'm not a girl." I'm like, "No, it's a term of affection."
Yeah. It took me a while because he called me. He was like girl, and I was like,
Yeah,
I'm not.
I'm not a girl. I was like,
It took me like a couple years to be like, okay, this means this is a term of endearment. It means he's gonna.
Look, girl.
Yeah. So.
I wish you would. I wish you wouldn't call me girl. Whatever you say, girl. You know that kind of thing.
All right, y'all. Any last things before we move on to the Wheel of Fate?
Oh.
Should have won Best Picture for editing, hands
Yes.
down. I'm disappointed.
Are y'all? Do you hear what's coming out of my window? It's
Hail.
Hail. So if you hear a lot of, oh my god.
Hell yeah, brother.
NEM, Toto. It's a twister.
All right. So I have just removed Moonlight from the thing. I was the closest last week. I predicted 2010 or I predicted 90s and we got 2010s.
I never watched Moonlight the entire series.
What are we in the mood for today, fellas?
I'm
Give me a movie from the late. Give me a movie from the 40s.
Oh wow, okay.
I want to go back to the 40s.
I want to go back. I want to be something funny. Give me a comedy.
Oh, I'm showing the wrong screen.
Yeah, that's nice.
There you are. You got
Yep. Here we go.
You guys can see the
Sure can.
We had the Wheel of Destiny.
Perfect.
Wheel of Destiny.
I really want a classic. I really want like The Apartment. I want something like that. That's what I really want.
Okay. All right. Okay.
So I'm looking at my other screen so you guys see me looking away. We're going to spin it here.
Come on. Green Book. No Country for Old Men.
It is very close. The Rain Man.
Oh yeah.
Oh yes.
So
definitely Whopper.
I can't wait for that movie.
James, you almost got your wish because the one beside it is The Best Years of Our Lives from 1946. So you almost got that.
Rain Man. This will be great.
I'm still happy with Rain Man. I'm still
this
happy
will be
with
great
Rain Man.
to watch this week.
Okay, so I have not seen Rain Man. I know,
really,
I know the story about it, obviously, because I feel like everyone does, but I've not seen it. So this will be new. This will be.
Oh my god,
this will be new for me. So I'm excited. I don't know anything about it. I do know that some of the podcasts some of the podcasts I've listened to, they say it has some troubling things they don't agree with. So I'm curious to kind of give my own opinion on that because I feel like everything can have that, but they were very harsh on it. They didn't think it was it was culturally damaging according to them. But
that'll be fun.
We'll have some fun about it. But man, that really pepped y'all's spirit up. I haven't seen you guys that happy since Casablanca.
It's a fun, it's an entertaining movie. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, it's so good.
And that's the year I was born, 88. So this will be fun.
89's the best year.
88. Oh my god.
89, Steven. 89.
You were 89?
That's how old he is.
Really?
Yeah.
I graduated from high school in 88, college in 89.
Moved to Chicago in
93. So I won't make the little hand gesture, but I will tell you that.
All right, y'all.
I'm old. Okay.
And on that note, if you made it that far, please be sure to like and subscribe. Give us a thumbs up. Leave some comments below. Let us know your thoughts on it. This is a very controversial movie. Please let us know. Keep it friendly, obviously, and the comment cordial. We really do appreciate you guys. But otherwise, that's all I got. And we appreciate your time. And this is the Chicago Cinephiles signing off.